4 actors, 2 commercials, 1 week on a crazy timeline and budget. Oh, and we borrowed a page right out of this legendary B-movie filmmaker's playbook. And if you don't know who that is, well, you will.
May have been a crummy dentist, but you were a nice fellow.
Oh, gather around, kids. Today we're going to talk about producing. It is the most ambiguous, most inconsistent term used in production, and I want to demystify it. I want to talk a little bit about the role of it and a little bit of what goes into making a commercial. So if you're into those sort of things, stick around. In the beginning, depending on the arrangement, either an internal team, an agency, or a production company will come up with generally 3 ideas, and they will pitch that to the client. Depending on your situation as the producer, you may be a part of the ideation or just simply as a consultant. And you know what? The more that you do this, when you pitch ideas, they will usually want a little bit of both. They'll ask for a mashup. Well, I call this the Panda Express option. You see, they want a little bit of that General Tso's, and they also want that broccoli beef, so you got to hit them with that. So this is the secret menu item. This is option 4. Now, don't put this in the pitch deck, but just be prepared for it, because more and more times they're going to want both ideas. Now, it could be a great idea, and you need to be flexible there, but if it's not great, if it convolutes the idea, I think it's okay to push back and explain why it's not a good idea and why that would potentially water down the messaging. The concept. After narrowing down many ideas to just one, the company picked the idea that a sales associate is handing a piece or a tool across this line to a customer on a job site. And they wanted it to coincide with the VO, which would say something along the lines of, it's almost like we're on the job site with you. They really liked the visual of that. They liked how that could be communicated and just what it could represent to customers who are always on job sites. And as always, of course, there are many creative hurdles, there are many production hurdles, and I'll put a list on the screen now and just walk through it. Somehow we need to sell the idea of being on the job site and crossing over into it. We have to deliver the concept that was pitched and that they agreed on. The company also wants for the commercial to end back in one of their stores. So we'll have to figure out the counter portion where they do the checkout and what that would look like. Some production hurdles. Production on job site is complex. These spaces aren't made for filmmaking. And there are plenty of safety concerns when filming on in these areas. Scheduling on job sites is difficult. They move quickly the different stages that they're in, or they could be stagnant for a long period of time and you're waiting for that to get at the right moment and where you want to film. Another hurdle is just blending the locations. How can we do this practically versus green screen versus a hybrid approach? Budget, always a concern. That will never go away. In addition to video, we have photography that we need to capture of different scenarios of them handing different products across this line. We also have a long list of other deliverables, such as a 15 and a 5-second version. Okay, so from here, I'll break down everything once we start rolling into the production. And just to recap, we are working on 2 30-second commercials, plus 2 15s, plus 2 5s. Pre-production. From the start, we knew that this was going to be difficult to film just on the green screen. But the idea that we had was just have the actors walk across the green screen, and we'll use plates both of on a job site and in the store. And then when they meet in the middle, we'll have to just mesh that together in post. Because there was a lot of technical considerations, we really weren't 100% all in on this idea, but we were exploring it and starting to talk about doing a practical set build. And so that's where this comes in. We visited many studios and found some really great partners on this one that had the space. And we started to really consider, the advantages of doing a practical set build. We could work it into the budget. We knew that. And our back was up against the wall on post. We really only had about a month and a half to shoot everything in a week and then deliver it before Christmas. So more and more as we developed this idea, developed this concept and thought about it, did different budgets, practical was the way to go. And I'm so glad we did. For many reasons, I think practical just sells the idea. It takes a lot of the technical mishaps that can happen that you overlooked or you just didn't see, or whatever the case might be. It takes that out of the equation. And honestly, I think that it gives the director and the actors some energy to feed off, because what's around them is real and they can interact with it. And we're not baked into, well, we have to shoot just how the plates are. We can really adjust on the fly in the studio. And I love that. And ultimately, that's the direction we went in. And I'm so happy about that because I think it turned out just beautifully. So I thought it would be helpful if I did a breakdown, the pros and cons of if you're going to shoot this on a green screen, let's say a product or lifestyle or furniture ad, what that would look like on a green screen, and then what that would look like doing a set build, and the pros and cons of each, so that if you are producing or you're thinking about this or have a project in mind, this could help you consider your options. Enter Roger Corman. Roger Corman is a legendary B-movie filmmaker. He has, I think, over 300 producer credits to his name, 50 director credits, and he is a master at efficiency in filmmaking. He is famous for shooting scenes for multiple movies at the same time and reusing locations. And even he's known for reusing sets that were about to be torn down, and he would cater them to his story just to, save some money, just so that the films could be more profitable without having so much sunken cost into a production. So this got me thinking, why can't we do this for a commercial? So we did. With the help of a production designer and a set builder, we constructed one large set. On the left side, one commercial, and on the far right side, another one. And in the middle was going to be our store set, our store scene, where it's going to be the crossover point in each commercial. The beauty behind this is you'll never see the full set. You'll just see portions of it, and it allowed us to maximize the set build, the construction cost, and just shoot it very efficiently in the same road, not have to have different parts of it and just shooting it flat on. Here's an early sketch of the set with this technique we had in mind of shooting flat on one large set. Shooting in the middle would be for both spots. Producer note, building sets is nothing new. Either it's going to be in a studio or on location, and you have to figure out the total cost whichever way you decide to go. For example, if you film in a beautiful home, well, it might not cost as much as renting a studio in terms of the fees or bay designs, but can you work as fast? For working with a production designer, understand your total cost. When budgeting, there should be pre-pro, design time, shopping and prep, and labor, and also wrap time in the budget. There should also be a separate line item for any sort of props as set dressing outside of their labor costs. And a budgeting golden rule: thou shalt not create a budget that goes over with the hope that returns will bring us back within budget. In other words, don't rely on your budget for that money to come back to use it elsewhere in the production. Just assume that it's all going to be spent, and that way you just cover your butt. It's just as simple as that. Okay, the most important part and bit of wisdom I wish that somebody would have told me many years ago is, as a producer, you have to ask yourself, how can I set up the team to be successful? What can I arrange to make sure that we have the best outcomes possible? And if I need to cut budget, if I need to cut corners in certain areas, I have to ask myself, who does this affect? And does it affect them in a way that makes it difficult or impossible for them to do the tasks that I've asked them to do? The production lasted 1 week, and this doesn't include the pre-production time that went into it. The majority of the time was at the studio, and the guys at the studio, the owners, were really great guys. They were flexible with us in terms of setup and prep time versus shoot days. And then on our last day, it was at an actual store, which was the conclusion of the commercial and our last filming day. Finally, now that we've gone through the concept, the pre-production, the production of it, let's finally have a look at them. Here we go. Lessons learned. We didn't lock in the set design and set dressing early enough. It almost cost us time that we didn't have. So if we were to do this over again, I would work that in early into the development, the earliest I can as possible, working in with a production designer, a set builder, make those decisions faster and get participation from the client sooner in terms of the overall design and deciding what's going to be in the store and what merchandising store signage as early as possible, because we had props and set dressing and signage arriving just the morning of when we're shooting these spots, and you can't cut things down to the wire like that. You really can't. It's just, you can't operate that way. Second lesson is we debated green screen, but practical saved us hours in post. Going with a practical set build and believing in fixing anything on the day rather than waiting into post just saved us so much stress, so much uncertainty that we didn't have to worry about. And then we knew that whatever we captured looked exactly how we wanted it to. The only thing we really had to figure out in post was the line, adding this blue line across the job site and the store scene. But that was really the only technical thing we had to worry about compared to doing it all in post and matching up the plates and the lighting, and the potential errors that we were going to run into wasn't worth it. Now that you've seen both commercials and how we did it, how would you do it? If you had to make 2 commercials in 1 week on a tight timeline and budget, what would be your strategy? Let me know. Okay, that's it for this one. If you're into indie filmmaking, producing, or just making things on a tight budget, well, this channel is all about that. So if you'd like to see more, please consider subscribing. I have more producer commentary, budget talks, and breakdowns coming up soon. Okay, bye for now.